Good morning, students. Welcome to the virtual class of Gyan Girls School. This is the continuation of the chapter Socialism in Europe and the Russian Revolution. In the last class, we have dealt about making of a socialist society, how the Bolshevik party moved towards the change and started to develop the society into in the from the basis of from the ideology of socialism. 5 year plans were introduced, different things were seen in them, and also problems were seen in those 5 year plans in changing the society. So efforts were done by the government to overcome those challenges that was faced during making a change in socialist society. Now in today's video we are going to deal with Stalinism and collectivization. Now up till now, as I said, we had seen all the problems of Russia, the revolutions that became a major source of change in Russia, and last after all the revolution, a socialist society was formed in Russia. Means ultimately the idea of socialism gets victory in Russia. Now, Stalinism. When we talk about Stalinism, Stalin it comes from a word Stalin, which means it is the name of a leader of Russia, that was Joseph Stalin. Now we have seen that Lenin played a very important role in forming socialist society. Now after death of Lenin, Joseph Stalin took over the control of Russia and USSR, and it can be said that Lenin established socialism in Russia, whereas Stalin transformed Russia in a socialist society. Now Lenin died in January 1924, after which Stalin takes all the control in his hand, and the time period of Stalin is known as Stalinism, or ideology of Stalin is known as Stalinism. Now the time as we can say, the time period when Russian Communist Party was headed by Stalin and USSR was dominated by Stalin, that time period is known as Stalinism. Now when we talk about collectivization is derived from the word collective, which means combining land of various farmers and then performing the agriculture activities on collective basis. Now this means that agriculture activities was done in collective basis. All the land were accumulated and all the workers or peasants worked together on that land. So this was the process under collectivization. Now what was the need of collectivization? Everything was going on as Lenin had viewed about Russia, thought about Russia. Now what was the need of collectivization? Now see, by 1927, Soviet Russia were facing problems of grain supplies. There were shortage of food grains, particularly in town areas, and in countryside people produced, because, and as we can say that in countryside people were producing goods, people were producing food grains by themselves, and but at the same time condition was not the same in the town side. The condition did not prevail in towns, same condition did not prevail in towns, as one cannot cultivate in town. The countryside cultivated for themselves, but the people who lived in town were unable to do. That's why they faced food shortage in towns. Now the shortage of food grains were observed in whole Russia, but impact were severe in town. Means more and more problems were seen in towns while in facing the shortage of food grains. So, for improving the condition, the government fixed prices at which grains was to be sold. The government very clearly saw that the production of food grains were very low, and due to this, peasants refused to sell their grain to government. and buyer at these prices. That is they demanded higher prices for those food grains which were produced by these cultivators. Now, so that's why what government did, government fixed the price of grains, as government thought that peasants have supplies but were not selling. Means they were keeping stock of supplies but they were not keeping. Means the peasants, they thought, the government thought that peasants refused to sell their grains at the prices which government had fixed. Means the peasants said that they don't have grains stored at their houses. They clearly said that they don't have grains stored their houses, that if government will raise the price of the food grains, they will take out all the products, all the food grains, and they will sell it in the market. No, that was not the condition. Peasants agreed to sell whatever they had, but not at the prices that was fixed by the government, as it was too low. They also had to take out the food grains at the prices that they wanted to sell, not at the prices which government had fixed. Now, due to this, a conflict between the socialist government and peasants were seen in Russia, but the problem of food shortage continued to prevail till now. After all this, now Stalin believed that rich peasants and traders in the country were holding stocks in the hope of higher prices. For example, you might have seen that sometimes in our country there is increase in rate of certain products, like sometimes onion, sometimes pulses, tomatoes, or anything, but in market. But why do these prices, why do the stocks does not why does we don't get the product at very less price? Why the prices are rising? See, the cultivation done in a huge amount, and the cultivators sell all the products to traders. They don't sell it directly in the market, but they sell it to the traders. Now these traders hoard all the products, and shortage of products are seen in market. They show that there are shortage of products, as all the products, all the food grains are hoarded by these traders. Now, due to which demand rises as well as prices also rises. After the prices rises to the highest, trader takes all the hoarded products to the market and sell it at the price that they want to. Now, Stalin also thought about the same thing that was happening in Russia, that food grains might be hoarded by the rich peasants or traders so that they could earn more. Now, Stalin said that speculation had to be stopped and supplies were confiscated. Means in 1928 it was seen that party members toured the grain producing areas, supervising enforced grains collection and raiding kulaks. Kulaks is the name for well-to-do peasants, that is peasants who have certain amount of land, who are fully not fully but well grown. Now, a group of farmers, as I said, who have large land and workers work under these farmers are called kulaks. Now, these kulaks were to be speculated and raided, due to which Stalin gave ideas to tour the grain producing areas. They checked if the grains are holded at same place or some places or not, and grains were also collected forcefully by these traders, by these peasants. Now, all these were done due to food shortage in Russia, but despite all these steps taken for due to food shortage, it still prevailed in Russia. Now, it was argued that grain shortage were also seen due to small size of holdings. Now, small size of holdings means after 1917, all peasants were given over land for sized cultivation, for small sized land for cultivation, but it was very small. Okay, the land were distributed in small size. It was not standardized and modernized. So the argument was given that a small size of the land were also one reason for food shortage. Now, small peasants farm could not be modernized, and to modernize these farms, it should be run along industrial lines with machinery. This idea was given by Stalin. Means these land needs to be converted into industrial line. So it was necessary to dominate Kulak and eliminate Kulak and take away lands from peasants and establish state controlled large farms. And with this comes the Stalin's collectivization program. And here collectivization program was working through these ways. Now all these were the ideas of Stalin, and Russian Communist Party were people willing to do this. Were the people as the people of this was the, as I said, this was the all the condition was just what Stalin wanted. But does the people of Russia, does the other parties in Russia also needed the same thing? No, there were many problems seen with Stalin's collectivization program. It was not a proper program. There were problems in that collectivization programs. Now, what were the problems during collectivization? What people were thought about this? See, from 1929, the forced the party forced all peasants to cultivate in collective farm, that was kolkhoz. Now peasants were not allowed to cultivate in independent farmland but were forced to cultivate in kolkhoz, and then profit were shared among them. That enraged peasant, all these processes enraged peasants resisted the authorities and destroyed their livestock. Means peasants were not ready to work in collective farm in kolkhoz, so they were forced unnecessarily, due to which anger arose in them, and the anger inside the peasants due to the anger inside the peasants, they destroyed their own farms and killed their own cattle. And it was seen that by 1929 and 1931, the number of cattle fell by 1/3. Now, those who resisted collectivization, they were severely punished, deported, or exiled. And exiled means they were directly or indirectly tortured by the people who were in power. In the name of socialism, they were suppressed. And now earlier we had studied that peasants were natural socialists, means they did cultivation in shared and commune form. So here why they were against collectivization? Here we are saying that they were against collectivization. Why? See, when they were doing it naturally, they enjoyed it and were considered as natural socialists at that time. But when government wanted to impose something to these peasants opposed, because they were forced to do so. Doing something by ourselves, and when we are forced to do the same thing, there is difference between both the things. So here the peasants were now forced to do the same thing, so they opposed. They were not happy with this program. They were considered natural socialists, but when they were forced to do same under collectivization, they resisted. Now collectivization came into process, and peasants worked forcefully under this process. So did the situation regarding food shortage improve? All these steps were taken by the government, by the party who were ruling. Now did this improve the condition, the food shortages that were seen in Russia? Did it improve this condition? No. So why it didn't work? All these steps were done just to improve the situation. So why didn't it work? See, this food shortage prevailed for a long time in Russia, but after taking these measures by party, why the problem still prevailed? In spite of all measures taken under collectivization, production of crops did not increase at that time. Why? Just because of the bad condition, bad harvest in 1930 to 33 led one of the most devastating famine in Soviet history, where over 400 million people died in this famine. Now which means the collectivization process brought up social leaders in order to form socialist party. Socialist society failed completely. Now all these led to the criticism of the planned economy and the consequences of collectivization and within the party itself. Such critics were charged with conspiracy against socialism. Accusations were made, and by 1939 over 2 million were in prisons or labor camps. Now many were forced also to make false confession under torture and were executed even if they are innocent. And it was also seen that some of the talented professionals were also executed who might have changed the face of Russia, the economy of Russia to grow. They might have helped Russia to grow in future. They were also executed. Now see, after this it was seen that this was how the society was being formed. Now when we are talking about Russian Revolution, we also need to see that what was the global influence of Russian Revolution and the USSR. See, this is the last topic of the chapter. Earlier in this chapter, we have dealt with all the revolution, how the society changed after revolution, different revolution. Socialist society were formed and was handed over to Stalin, who brought up collectivization, which ultimately failed. It was seen that he was failing in the program that he introduced for the betterment of society. Now we have dealt everything with Russian perspective. Whatever we were dealing in previous all the videos, these all were regarding Russian perspective. Now we will see the global influence of Russian Revolution and the USSR that was formed after Russian Revolution. See, existing socialist parties in Europe did not wholly accept and approve the way Bolshevik took power and kept it. Not all the socialist parties in Europe were in the same position. The way Bolshevik worked by suppressing everyone, people started to oppose him. They opposed him literally. Now other parties apart from Bolshevik that was formed in other countries and who worked for socialism were not as same as Bolshevik party. Their support for socialism was just due to possibility of worker state. They thought, they had a hope that a worker state will be formed, so that's why they supported Bolshevik. Other socialist parties supported socialism for a worker state. Now socialism, that was ideology, states that socialism, under socialism, it is the ideology that states that society should be formed by workers and they must access the power. Now, so the idea of possibility of worker state grabbed the attention of other socialist party and they supported Bolshevik in order to change the society in a better way. They thought that when all the power will come to the workers society, workers community, it will be better. So with this thought process, they supported Bolshevik. So many communist parties were formed, like the Communist Party of Great Britain, and that also to support socialism. Now Bolsheviks encouraged colonial people to follow their experiment. What experiment they were taking? The first change regarding socialism was seen in Russia under Bolshevik party. So the party encouraged other colonial people to bring changes, and leaders like in India also leaders like Jawaharlal Nehru, M.N. Roy and some others took up these ideas so that they could change their society. And also we can see that from Russian Revolution only the word socialist came and it has been added to our constitution. For example, in India also people were influenced by socialism, as I was telling. So in our constitution also it is seen that socialists have been used. Now, many non-Russian from outside the USSR participated in the Conference of the People of East 1920. Bolshevik founded Comintern, that is an international union of pro-Bolshevik socialist party, means the one who supported Bolshevik formed a group known as Comintern. Now, so here we can clearly see that Bolshevik had formed a global influence in different parts of world, due to which some received education in USSR's Communist University of Workers of the East. Here the idea of socialism and communist idea were taught. Now, by the Second World War, the USSR had given socialism a global face and world stature. Now, USSR gave its idea a global support. The idea that emerged after World War One was spreaded everywhere. Now, either it way rise above or completely go down. Yes, it was not successful at all, and it had certain defects in it. By the 1950s, it was acknowledged that the style of government in USSR was not in keeping with the ideals of Russian Revolution. And the Russian Revolution took place in Russia, and the demand that were kept at the time about upliftment of worker and peasant were not brought into force. So the peasants workers were suppressed by the Bolshevik party for collectivization, and all these gave a different dimension to the mindset of people, that whatever was promised earlier during revolutions was not kept by the Bolshevik party. So a backward country had become, it was seen that a backward country such as Russia had become a great power, and its industries and agriculture had developed, and the poor over in Russia were being fed. So Russia at the time of revolution was a very poor country, which now had developed and were recognized as great power. There were increase and growth seen in industries and agriculture in Russia. But the ideas that were seen earlier about the equality was unseen by these people in the development of society. It also denied the essential freedom to its citizen, and carried out its developmental projects through repressive policy. All the people were suppressed so that they could take up their policy, they could take their policy forward. Therefore, by the end of the 20th century, the international reputation of the USSR as socialist country had declined, though it was recognized that socialist ideas people still enjoyed respect among its own people. So the socialist idea was still praised and recognized by the people. So all these were under the it was all seen under the socialist society, how the Bolshevik party worked to get influence, to influence other countries to take up socialism and work towards forming a socialist society. So now this is the end of the chapter. Here we complete the chapter. If you find any difficulty, if you find any doubt regarding anything in this chapter from very first page of the chapter, please do ask, go through the chapter, do ask the question. The questions I'll upload in the Google Classroom. Please do see that and try to solve it by your own. For now, thank you and have a nice day.